Welcome to your 10-minute executive coach. I'm Paul Burke with Business Acceleration. This channel is dedicated to those men and women who lead organizations out there, small, medium, large. They have leadership teams or they're building leadership teams. If you're a leader, this channel is dedicated to you to help give you relevant tools that you can apply in your organization quickly. As I say, relevant. Everything we will try to present here will be practical, relevant, and fast. Practical meaning it shouldn't take a ton to implement. Relevant, you'll get it, your people will get it. And fast, you can implement quickly in your organization. That's what Business Acceleration does. We work with leaders and leadership teams to help their organizations break through ceilings and perform better than they ever have before. Let's get started with episode 1. Do I have a leadership team? This happens a lot with new introductions to clients where it'll usually be an entrepreneur and he or she's built this business and it is just ripping them apart. They're bleeding cash. They might be profitable, but they're wasting a ton of money because of the inefficiencies. Oh, my people don't know what they're doing, or these vendors, or these whatever it is. Their employees are terrible. It's just chaos. That happens a lot. First question I ask is, do you have a leadership team? Oh, yeah, Susie does this, and Mark does this, and Carol does this, but Carol and Mark don't talk, and they hate each other, and then they're always have it's chaos. It's an organization that needs to get that leadership team functioning. And that leader is usually doing it all himself or herself. And they're burning up and they're angry and they're not winning. So the first thing we do, fine, we need to build a leadership team. Recall Good to Great, right? Collins' book, Right People, Right Seats. Keep that concept in mind as we go forward. When we start, we get a leader ready to go, we need to look at his or her leadership team, make sure it has the right seats, and then fill them with the right people. So we don't start with the people, we start with the seats. That's what we're going to do in episode 1. Let's take a look at your organization and find out what roles you need to cover on that leadership team to help you succeed going forward. I'd like to target 12 to 18 months. Just get that vision, 12 to 18 months on how you want to do it. And then you have a leadership team, use them, use peers, use friends, family, whatever you may do. And let's ask the first question we have to ask. What roles do we need to have on this leadership team making decisions, executing for the next 12 to 18 months for us to succeed? Depending where we are, where we've been, where we're going in those 12 to 18 months. In the past, I was an EOS implementer. Some may know that as Traction. Gino Wickman did a wonderful job, put a book together called Traction, and it took all these wonderful tools that all these great business coaches had put together and put it into an EOS, what he called the Entrepreneurial Operating System. Great system. The first tool that they put together I thought was great, and I'm not sure where he got the structure from, was we need to have those roles defined. And in every organization, we need 3 roles. We need a sales and marketing role. Someone's got to bring customers in. Without customers, we're not going to succeed. Even if you're a church, we need to get people into the pews. We need an operations role in that leadership team. Someone has to do whatever it is we do. Someone has to know how it's done and make decisions so that we do it well. And third thing, we have to have a finance person on that leadership team. Someone has to be counting the money, even in a nonprofit. You run out of fuel, you stop. We love to do our charity, but we ran out of cash. Someone has to manage the financial piece of that organization. Now, does that mean every team has 3? No. Your sales and marketing, you may be an organization that requires a marketing and a salesperson to lead on that level. You will decide and argue that out. And so you'll have a marketing leader and a sales leader on that team. Many organizations I find are really sales focused. So they need to have a sales leader on that leadership team, and the marketing function may fall under them. Or they're a real marketing-driven organization where, hey, it's really about getting people to our website and they do all the buying and selling themselves. They sell themselves. So we need a strong marketing person, then any other sales would fall under that. Operationally, it really depends. Is it one person that does our operations? You manufacture widgets, that's what we do. We manufacture and sell widgets right here in the Midwest. I need an operations person. Now, if you are manufacturing and selling widgets internationally, you have to warehouse these products, you have to ship them, you may, looking at your say, wow, our challenge is transportation. We need someone in operations on this leadership team. We need someone in transportation. That's our nightmare. That's where we're bleeding cash or wherever's happening. Those are decisions you make. So you may have two operational roles. And then getting over to finance, hey, it's counting the cash, it's the accountant, it's in a larger organization, your CFO, in a smaller one, your controller, and sometimes it's just the accountant. A lot of things that fall under that role: IT, HR, the miscellaneous administrative duties that have to happen to keep your organization going, making sure the toilet paper's in the bathroom, the pens are on the desk, and the photocopier works. Those kind of tasks. As you get bigger, those roles expand. If your IT function within your organization becomes critical, that if it doesn't work, you lose, you may bring an IT person into that role. And I've had an organization that I've worked with for many years, didn't have an IT or an HR person on that leadership team. As they grew, got bigger, those roles became more important. They put someone in those roles on the leadership team, making decisions for the organization. The last role you need to look at for the leadership team that we'll discuss is that integrated role, as EOS or Gino Wickman would say, your president, the person who leads the leadership team. She is the one that makes sure all of that first leadership team, they all play well together. They get things done. They're coaching them. They're building them up. And they have certain responsibilities themselves. But that person is make sure that leadership team functions. So that leadership team can do what they do well to help their people do well. So let's stop. Where are we? Do we have a leadership team? Let's start with the roles. If you notice, I didn't start with people. We don't want, and a lot of times my clients will come to me, well, Susie does this, and then Jeff does this, and so he'll take care of marketing. And we've got to stop and remove the people. Let them all become owners of the company for this exercise. In a room asking people, what do we need to have on this leadership team? Challenge is you'll walk into your first meeting, and we have to be ready to do this, and it's happened many times with me. You'll walk into a room with 7 people, and when you're done, there's only 5 spots on that leadership team, because that's really what they need to succeed in the next 12 to 18 months. Now, an organization is big enough, those other 2 people will fill in somewhere else in the organization. We always want to try to keep people from putting someone there in a leadership team role because they're ineffective or distractive. But let's look at the roles. We're not even going to talk about people today in episode 1. And that's where I'm going to come back and we've got this. We decided what we need. Now we're going to go down to each role on that leadership team. Maybe you've got a sales role. What is that role going to own? The 5 to 8 things that they're going to own. The customer, top line sales, product development, whatever they may own. Boom, that salesperson owns that. Operationally, what is this person going to own? Boom, boom, boom. 5 to 8 items. 8's a lot, but you're going to be general here. They own the manufacturer. They own the real estate. They own whatever it may be, permitting. In a construction company, that person has to own permitting, government relations. Go over to finance. What are they going to own? Hey, it's accounts payable, accounts receivable, HR functions, IT functions, admin, office staff, whatever it may be. Those roles are defined. We start looking. Now you look at the picture, and you got that integrator role. I told you, the leader of the leadership team, and you lay out what that role needs to have. Hey, it might be culture, strategy, the big relationships. You may have a few big clients in your organization that you have to have top to top. That president owns those big relationships, or that integrator. They may also own the bank relationships or whatever associations, or wherever it may be. Define that role. This is our work today on episode 1. And this is where I want you to go back. Sit down with your leadership team, away from the office if possible. Rent a room at the local coffee shop if you have to. And ask yourself, what roles on this leadership team do we need to have to succeed over the next 12 to 18 months? Have an open argument. Put it up on a board. Write it all down. Figure out what roles you need. Fill in the responsibilities for each role. Fill it out. Look at it. Bang it out. Have the arguments. And when you're done with that, episode 2, we're going to work on how do we fill those roles and then start building our organization below that. But let's start with that, and that's the homework I'm going to send you back from episode 1. Sit down with your team, and if you don't have a leadership team, some peers, friends, coaches, family, I don't know where it'd be. What do I need to succeed over the next 12 to 18 months? Build that structure. See how it works. Fill those roles. Get a feel of what you need for the next step. And until then, from your 10-minute executive coach, lead well. Thank you.